Aloha kako, and welcome to the West Hawaii Association of Realtors 2020 County Council interviews. My name is Kristen Moreland, and I'm the broker owner of Hikino Property Management. I chair the Government Affairs Committee for our association. Our committee extended the opportunity to participate in our interviews to each candidate who filed. While our association does not endorse candidates, we believe it is important to inform our membership and the community at large. This is an opportunity for the candidates to answer questions related to real estate and real property rights as they pertain to the candidates' platforms and policies. The interview will consist of an introduction of the candidate, then we'll move on to an opening statement. We'll have 6 questions, each will be timed for 2 minutes. We'll then have a summary statement from the candidate and we will conclude. This interview will be conducted by Tanya Power from Windermere CNH Properties. Tanya is a member and the former chair of our Government Affairs Committee. Now let's meet the candidate. Ranae Keane is a candidate for County Council District 9. At this time, we would like to welcome the candidate and invite you, Candidate Keane, to give us your introductory statement.
Aloha, my name is Ranae Keane. Thank you very much to the West Hawaii Realtors for allowing us to share. I really appreciate it. I am a candidate for Hawaii County Council District 9, representing the areas of North and South Kohala. That includes the areas of Waikoloa Village, Manalani, Puako, Kauai High, Hawi, Kapa'au, Waikiki, and a large section of Waimea. My goal is to bring a better balance to Hawaii by improving efficiency, streamlining government, embracing the use of technology, developing reliable infrastructure, and communicating with transparency and clarity to the community.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mahalo, Candidate Keane. And now let's get on to our questions. Tanya?
Question number 1, Ranae, is the International Energy Conservation Code, commonly known as the IECC, was instituted with amendments last year by the County Council. An unintended consequence for residents of Hawaii Island is that the IECC and Hawaii County Code combined impose unreasonable expense to homeowners for minor modifications to their home. If elected, how would you go about modifying the code to correct the burden it places on Big Island property owners?
I am very concerned with all of the overregulation that we have in terms of how our county tends to operate. We put everyone in the same bundle and without understanding the consequences of everyone that this one piece of code or legislation affects. And so we need to, 1, make things more streamlined, more efficient, and reduce the regulations. We need to be helping people thrive right now, not putting burdens on them.
Excellent, thank you. Question number 2 is on workforce housing. Everyone agrees that there is a need for more affordable housing on the Big Island. Workforce housing brings families closer to their jobs, alleviates traffic congestion, and promotes healthier families and communities. How would you propose to develop and support workforce housing?
Well, I know that we've used the numbers from the 2015 study that goes into 2025. I would say one of the first things that we need to do now is reevaluate what our workforce need is now, that our workforce significantly changed just 3 months ago. And when you're talking about workforce, people often mix that up or just bunch in affordable housing. Those are 2 different things. But right now, too, we need to keep in perspective of now our mean average income is very different than it was 3 months ago. And now with the government assistance running out next month, that's going to change again very significantly. And all those numbers that we have been working on were based on projections from 5 years ago. So one of the things I'm very interested in is looking at our need right now, because we have to be very careful of supply and demand in the real estate market, that we do not bring so much into the market that we drop all of the prices of our current homes, but at the same time we need to make sure we have enough housing for everyone, and that it's at a price level and a price point that is achievable by the people who live here in Hawaii. Yes.
Thank you. Question number 3 is on the reopening. Hawaii Island has been extraordinarily successful in avoiding the COVID-19 virus. What do you identify as the 3 most important actions the council can take to support the safe reopening of the island's economy?
Okay, so one, we need to promote the business innovators who are still being successful during this, and real estate is one of that. So I'd like to go into more of that. The other thing that I particularly want is a protocol in place to inform and empower our people. So we need to know that if this, then that. So for example, if we reach X number of cases, or if there is an outbreak, then we're going to go to protocol A. If the numbers reach this amount, then we're going to go to protocol B. If the numbers reach this amount, that way we as a community know what to expect in the future. We can plan our businesses, we can base our contracts out, we can inform our customers and our clients how we're going to operate, because we know what we're responsible for, and then the entire community has a responsibility, and they know we need to keep the levels here. Right now, it's just like, we'll let you know in the future, and business people can't operate off of that. Families can't operate off of that. Schools can't operate off of that. So I want protocols in place. So we are all accountable for our success with COVID-19. Now, in terms of promoting the businesses that are leading the way, I'm really impressed with the real estate market. I've heard really great things happening, and not only that, the real estate industry was prepared in the use of Matterport, in the use of virtual tours. The industry was one of the first to adopt and embrace the technology so that we could communicate. And I think we need to promote that type of success so that we do not just sit and wait. So everyone can join in your lead and follow those great business practices. Am I out of time?
Yes, you are. Thank you. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
Our next question is regarding short-term vacation rentals. This is a 2-part question. I'm going to pose both of them at the same time for you to pick them. What is your position on enforcement of the short-term vacation rental ordinance? And do you think the state of Hawaii should interfere with Hawaii County's home rule and pass legislation to dictate over the short-term vacation rental regulations?
Okay. So the short-term vacation rental regulation on non-conforming units was Bill 108, and that took a year and a half to write and over 8 rewrites. When it was first introduced, the community believed that it was going to regulate short-term vacation rentals, and after 8 rewrites, we've had issues, right? So what it came to is that only non-hosted were regulated and had a significant fee to pay. But when we look at the regulation, the enforcement isn't actually happening. So what we did was over-regulated people who have a responsible short-term vacation rental, who are improving their property, who are lifting the property values of their neighborhood, and still the people who are giving short-term vacation rentals a bad name have yet to have this enforcement, because it's not clear, black and white rules of what is allowed and what isn't. It's still all a judgment call. and it's based on complaint. So we still have the bad apples giving short-term vacation rentals a bad name. So we also have enforcement that was placed into the rule that still cannot be enforced. For example, not having more than 5 unrelated people in one place. That has never been enforced because it's actually, when I went to ask, have you ever enforced this? I was told by the planning department, well, we can't actually ask that because it's illegal to ask if someone's related to someone else. Well, why was this built into it? No, we can't do this. We need to have black and white rules that apply to everyone the same way and that the enforcement makes sense. So to impose that someone needs to be on property 24/7, 365 days a week for that property, but we don't even have that available for the county. So why is the county enforcing that on our small business owners and our homeowners who are trying to supplement their income with short-term vacation rentals? You have to find a balance and a center to this, and we need to make sure we're not letting the bad apples go and then over-regulating the people who are doing a nice job with this industry.
Thanks. Question number 5 has to do with taxation. Increasing taxes or creating new taxes are a short-term fix and may continue to drive people out of our state. What are some of the long-term plans to help generate new sources of revenue for the county that do not include taxes?
Well, I would say that before we even generate the new, we need to look at our excess spending in the county and actually look at our budgeting. And it's not all that we need to find new sources of income. It's that we actually need to adjust our spending, and we are spending our money in the county at the county level. And I would also call for clear transparency in our budget system for the county. If you look at the Maui County budget next to the Hawaii County budget, the clarity, the transparency in the Maui County budget is amazing, and it also has an element of education in it to help the layperson read this budget, whereas our budget is quite cryptic, hard to find the information, and lacks a lot of transparency in terms of where we're spending money, particularly on our staffing and things like that. So before we even generate new, we need to curb our spending so we have a safeguard in our situation for our county. But in terms of seeking funds and being proactive, I think that grant writing is a huge one that's underutilized for the county of Hawaii. If we had grant writers in each department, but including also the county council itself, there's funding out there that is left on the table because we aren't actively writing these grants to get more funding from other sources that are not taxing our own people or not raising fines and fees and permitting for our people here. There are other sources that don't put that burden on our people here in Hawaii. I don't agree that we need to overtax one certain population. I believe that that's unfair because there's always repercussions. If you tax one certain group over another, then you lose the benefits that that small community brings to us, and we've really got to watch our step there on that type of action.
Thank you. Number 6, and our final question, is on infrastructure improvement. This is news to you, right? There was a sewage spill in Kailua Bay last week. It was down the bay. We're faced with need for infrastructure improvements for wastewater systems, both in residential and commercial real estate sector along the county and state lands. Floating bonds and assessing the individual homeowner for the cost is one option. What will you do in the next 2 years to move the county forward in upgrading the county's wastewater systems?
That is a very challenging situation because a lot of what is happening is mandated at the state and at the federal level, and then the county has to meet their requirements and then also, you know, work on our own situation that we have here at home. But that is then where the budget comes into place and moving a little bit more money into that area and helping with our specific systems here. But part of it too is extreme forward thought in our planning for our new developments, and making sure that the first thing that people want to throw out is the infrastructure for new development. And we need to make sure infrastructure is in place, and that that is a priority, and it goes in conjunction with and or before, not an afterthought. And that's one of the severe short-sightedness issues that we've had in our county government for a long time. Our infrastructure must be a top priority, and when people say, no, we should cut that so we can get development running and you know, get our people working, if our people are building infrastructure, they are working. So infrastructure is a #1 priority for me, and what our county goes forward with in the future. We must be forward thinking in infrastructure.
Thank you. Thank you, Ranae, for your time.
Thank you.
May you give us your summary of why we should vote for you?
My background is in Youth and Human Services Administration. I studied a great deal of policy in my master's degree and graduate work. Then I have spent a lot of time in our community working in education as well as in performing arts. And so I've had several touch points in our community, and I want to take my experience as a small business owner and take that with my policy background to bring a better balance for Hawaii. And I really want to just be the open ears for the constituents of District 9 in North and South Kohala. I truly want to represent them and what they're calling for and the needs of the people here in North and South Kohala.
Mahalo, Candidate Keane.
Mahalo.
And interviewer Tanya Power, for your willingness to participate in our program. We wish you the very best on Election Day. To our audience, mahalo for tuning in. Don't forget that the primary election ballots will be delivered by January 21st for the August 8th primary. I got mine yesterday. And the general election is November 3rd. Mahalo for watching, but more importantly, please vote. Aloha.